I kinda promised myself I wouldn't do this video. I didn't think I had to. I was pretty sure someone else made this video by now, and I was kinda shocked no one really had. The world had kinda just accepted this song as a godsend of a track that makes all other breakup songs look like crap. But before I do anything, I do have to put a few disclaimers. You see that banner over there? It says country music. That is where a lot of my expertise and source of my criticism comes from. So if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine, as in a sense, I don't. Also, don't let my opinion of this song diminish how you view it. I'm just one guy on the internet who's expressing his opinion after all. Driver's License, as you probably already know, is a song by Olivia Rodrigo, who starred on High School Musical. No, not that one. No, the other one. There you go. And that's honestly where all the knowledge I have ends. It's breaking streaming records and most likely will be nominated for a Grammy and every other music award there is. This song has people split into two factions, an overwhelming amount of people who adore this song and worship it, and a very small faction that call it trash without rhyme or reason. There really aren't a lot of people who are in the middle lane when it comes to this track, so that's what I'm here for. I personally just don't see this song as an emotional tour de force. I think it's just okay, but before I go into my problems with this song, I'll start out with some good stuff. I think most people can agree the vocal performance on this track is really good. It's not like other songs that hide exceptionally talented vocals behind mountains of production. The delivery on this song is clear and crisp. I mostly dig the first third of this song. It has a neat charm and it's pretty well paced. I really like the line, "You didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me." That's a nice little petty jab, which is actually pretty clever. I also think the melody is pretty solid. It's not stagnant like a lot of pop country can be at times, nor trying so hard like on Kelsey Ballerini's acoustic version of Homecoming Queen. Everything just really works for me in that regard. But with that said, that is where the praise really ends for me. Probably my biggest issue with this song is that it's too vague in a lot of its details. Take the intro for example. I got my driver's license last week, just like we always talked about. That doesn't sound poetic, or even something I would hear in an opening to a song. That sounds like a conversation I would have with someone. It screams staleness. She ends with the same detail twice in the opening, talking about driving through the suburbs, and it's just reworded a little bit to hide that. And you're asking me, well, how would you fix it? And to that I say, I don't know, I'm not a songwriter. But I will give you samples of songs that do say a lot in their opener. Take Ashley McBride's Hang In There Girl. So much is said in the first opening lines. About 15, gray sweatpants, at the edge of the road putting up a flag, on a beat up mailbox, barely hanging on. I get an entire picture put into my head with just those two opening lines. I can't picture anything with the opening of Driver's License. I just get a blank picture in my head. And if that example isn't good enough for you, we can get into the even deeper ones. People Get Old, Lori McKenna. Someone said youth is wasted on the young. I spilled every last drop of that time in the summer in the sun. My daddy had a Timex watch, a cigarette in his hand and a mouthful of scotch, spinning me around like a tilt-a-whirl on his arm. What more could you ask for? Every line clever, every line vivid. Speaking of which, that comes into my next problem. Specificity throughout its entirety is considerably weak, with the exception of a few lines here and there. Let me ask you a question. If the music video didn't exist, could you paint me a picture of this story? I'm sure you know the answer to that, at least for me in that regard. The furthest we go into anything is Blonde Girl. This is basically what I picture in my head. These aren't people, they're characters to fit no purpose in the overall story. There are no details of her friends, they're just called friends. There are no details of the suburbs like on Betty, where it describes this guy walking on broken cobblestone, which A, is so much fun to say, and B, is vivid. Even Sam Hunt put effort in describing the car in Breakup in a Small Town with the detail in that white Maxima with the sticker on the back. It's not much, but at least I can picture something. Driver's License just gives me nothing. Plus, it uses a lot of tropes I genuinely have seen in almost every other breakup song ever made. Like, I never felt like this for anyone before, or I knew we weren't perfect. Here's something that would be an easy fix. Acknowledge that these are silly little tropes, but regardless of that fact, you're shocked that's how you feel. A few more minutes in the writing room could have easily fixed that for me. And then the song completely loses me with the bridge. The tempo change doesn't work, and you completely change the song's rhythmical structure. The melody goes off the rails and becomes stagnant. It's mostly just the same notes over and over. Also, having an F-bomb in your song doesn't automatically make it better. A lot of songs that don't have swear words manage to make me emotional because they have clever and vivid stories. And songs that do, like Tyler Childers' Feathered Indians, just drop it naturally.
How fucked up, get back home.
It's not treated like this breaking point in the climax, it's just naturally used and fits the setting and tone perfectly. It just feels so awkwardly placed in Driver's License, if I'm being honest. And I can already hear 2 rebuttals in the comments. You need to have context to understand the story of Driver's License. And to that I ask, why should I? Why do I need to know something that happened in the real world outside of this song in order to properly enjoy it? I never had to do that with Taylor Swift songs like Dear John, All Too Well, or Getaway Car. They tell clear, coherent stories that I don't need extra information to enjoy. I didn't learn that All Too Well was about Jake Gyllenhaal until my sophomore year in high school. I don't need to know Tom Hiddleston is the center of Getaway Car because I already know the story with its clever lyricism. And the second rebuttal is, clearly you haven't been through a breakup. And to that I say, you're right. I may have never gone through a breakup, but I have gone through heartbreak, and you can argue they are 2 tonally different things, but my relatability to a song isn't the primary reason I praise it. I relate to a lot of things. That doesn't automatically make it a masterpiece. I judge a lot of songs on story structure, pacing, progression. It doesn't just come down to one aspect and I call it a day. My all-time favorites do everything, not just one. For the record, I don't hate this song, and I do like a lot about it. The production is really good, they did an absolute great job with it. This song has a lot of great individual aspects, and my opinion on this song isn't clear cut. Songs aren't judged on their worst aspects, they're judged on how well the execution of the great moments are. If I listened to this back when I was 14 or 15, I would have been getting chills down my spine and having my mind blown. But we have to accept this song isn't really meant for people like me. They are for the more casual listeners. So we as intellectuals have to accept the more predictable and formulaic aspects. But Driver's License gives a lot for people like me to enjoy, even if I don't consider the overall product to be good. It's just a song that I happen to have a lot of problems with. And if I'm the only one that believes that, then so be it. I stand by my opinion and I doubt anything will change in the near future. Good night.